Hi guys, Clara here, and today I'll be showing you how to make 5 easy clay animals. And yes, bugs and insects are animals, so shh. Our first animal is a ladybug. Flatten a red ball of clay against a flat surface to create an oval dome shape, and indent a line down the middle. With a ball-pointed tool, indent a spot pattern on one wing and mirror the same pattern on the other wing. For the spots themselves, roll out a log of black clay and cut into equal sections. Roll each section into a ball and flatten it slightly between your fingers before placing. For the head, use a large ball-pointed tool to create an indent where the wings meet, where we will place a slightly flattened ball of clay with the flat side facing down. Add an indent on either side of the face, then add a tiny ball of black clay to each indent for the eyes. And it's done! But if you want a more realistic look, let's just quickly make one more. So we're starting off with the same step of creating a dome, but we're using a ball of black clay instead. For the wings, flatten out a small ball of red clay into an oval and cut a line straight down the middle. We'll indent where we want our spots on each half and we'll add small balls of black clay to each indent. Peel up each wing and place on the body. I want my wings to look slightly unfolded, so I'm placing them at an angle to leave a gap down the middle that gradually widens towards the back. Press the wings in place against the body and tidy up any wonky edges with the flat edge sculpting tool, and add a ball of clay flat side down, partially overlapping the edge of the wings. Add indents and 2 tiny balls of black clay for the eyes. Both ladybugs are now ready for the oven. Whether you prefer option 1 or option 2, I think both of these ladybugs turned out rather cute. But let me know if you have a favorite. For our next animal, we'll be sculpting a bee. With a ball of yellow clay, roll it into an oval. Then taper one end by rolling it under your finger to form a thick bowling pin shape. Now this clay had picked up a lot of lint, so I'm just using some acetone on a Q-tip to wipe it up the best I could. Moving on, for the bee's stripes, roll out a long log of black clay and flatten down with a roller. Cut off a small piece from one end to create a clean edge. Attach that clean edge to the body and wrap the strip around until the ends meet. Cut off the excess where it overlaps, and then we'll blend the seam using the flat edge sculpting tool to refine the stripe. Now repeat these steps to add a second stripe. For the stinger, roll a small ball of black clay into a cone and flatten the base against your finger while pinching the top into a point. Attach it to the end of the bee and gently blend in place with a pointed silicone tool. For the eyes, create an indent on each side of the face and insert a tiny ball of black clay. For the wings, I'm rolling out a small ball of light blue clay into an oval and I'm pressing that flat between my fingers. Indent a line down the middle, cut in half to create 2 wings, add the wings on top between the 2 stripes, and final step is to add a little smile with the tiny log of black clay and curving the edges upwards. I baked my bee for 1 hour at 275 degrees Fahrenheit, which helps ensure that it stays strong enough to remain in one piece if I ever were to drop it. Not that that would ever happen. Anyway, our next animal is a caterpillar. I have 5 different shades of green, but I'll save this dark green for later. Let's start with the second darkest green. Roll the ball of clay into a log and divide into 4 roughly equal pieces. Roll each section to create 4 smaller balls of clay, and repeat these steps for the other 3 shades of green until you're left with 16 equal balls of clay. Now decide which shade of green is your favorite, and roll out a slightly larger ball in that color, which will soon be the head. Arrange the shades of green to create a repeating pattern and flatten each ball down in place. Let's assemble our caterpillar. Now start from the ball that will be the one just before the head, and attach additional balls to create the body. After every 3 balls you attach, change up the direction. It's easiest when we squish the ball into a wedge or a triangular shape when we want to change direction. Now we can attach the head to the first ball and press into place. Add indents and tiny balls of black clay for the eyes. Then roll out a teeny tiny log for the mouth. Then turn that frown upside down and your caterpillar is done. For extra credit, let's make a leaf and taking that dark green ball we previously set aside, create a teardrop shape. Indent the center of the base, and then use a silicone tool to continue that line and start adding lines branching out on either side of our center line. To add a bite mark, use a small ball-pointed tool to mark where you want it to be. Then cut out that section of clay. All that's left is to place our caterpillar on the leaf and press down to secure in place. After baking, our little caterpillar is complete. Our next animal is going to be a snail. So I grabbed a medium-sized ball of clay and rolled it out into a thick log. Then I tapered one end by rolling it out to form a pointed tip. Bend it near the halfway point to form an L shape. For the eyes, or the antenna, roll out a small log and cut in half. And blend the seam on the first one before adding on the second antenna. Support the antenna with your finger while indenting the front with a small ball-pointed tool. Add a tiny ball of white clay before adding even tinier balls of black clay for the pupils. Use a flat-edge sculpting tool to indent the line for the mouth. Next, let's give this slug a shell. I grabbed various shades of brown clay, which I then smashed together before rolling into a log. Now fold the log in half, twist it a few times, then fold and roll again. Repeat these steps to blend the shades together until you have a nice swirl pattern going on. Flatten one end of the log and roll out the other half to taper the opposite end. And keep twisting your log until you're happy with the swirl pattern. Then fold over the pointed tip onto itself and start rolling the log into a spiral. Continue rolling and make sure the flat end faces out. Then place the flattened end against your snail's back and press down to secure. Then realize that you hate how this looks and peel the shell off its back. Then make a replacement that's 100 times better. Create an indent where the snail can fit nice and snug, and admire the improved proportions of your snail. Now don't worry, I'll show you how I made it, and I might as well reuse this failed attempt of a shell. I'm making the same elongated cone shape as before, but the difference between the flattened base and the pointed tip will be much more dramatic. Hopefully. Now let's try this again. Oh nice! Another slug needing a shell. How convenient. And now our snail has a friend. But now his friend has a nicer shell than him, and we don't like that. So maybe we try again. This time I also made it a point to check that I was rolling the shell in a straight line. So look down your log as you're rolling. If you do it right, you'll have a true spiral that curves inwards in the back. And one last indent at the base, and we can attach our shell. And I think these guys are looking great. The green one may look a bit like a grumpy Gus, but I'm sure he enjoys the company. Now our last animal is going to be a dragonfly. Small ball for the head, medium ball for the body, another small ball for the base of the tail, and 4 tiny balls descending in size for the tail. 2 tiny black balls for the eyes, and the wings will be made from this large ball of light blue clay. Roll out and divide into 4 equal parts. Roll out each section into a ball, and these will be the front and back wings for our dragonfly. Let's assemble. Add a small ball on either end of the body and press in place. Add each section of the tail from largest to smallest, and roll the body between your fingers periodically to keep the shape consistent. The black balls for the eyes will be flattened out before being placed on top of the head on either side. Moving on to the wings, roll each of the 4 balls into long teardrop shapes. Press down or roll out flat on some parchment paper. I'm using a pointed silicone tool to lightly drag the design into the clay. I then go over it with a small flat edge tool and press the lines in deeper so they're more visible. Repeat for the second front wing. For the back wings, I'm shaping these differently so the curved edge is facing down or outwards. I thought I'd show you that the design can be drawn with a knife as well. Use a light hand, of course, but you may find it easier to do the curved lines with a sharper edge. I'm still using the small flat edge tool and a pointed silicone tool to soften the edges and define the lines more. Now bake these wings for 1 hour at 275 degrees Fahrenheit. Also, for funsies, I'll make this test wing and I'll bake it for the recommended time of like 25 minutes, so stay tuned for the results. Back to our dragonfly, I'm indenting a slot on either side of the body. When I'm happy with the size, I'm taking some liquid Sculpey and I'm adding a blob in each indent before adding the wings. Make sure the wings are evenly spaced out, then wipe off any excess liquid Sculpey before sending our dragonfly off for the final bake. And out of the oven, I couldn't be happier with how it turned out. And just to test out how flexible and strong these wings really are, let's give them a good bend. Keep in mind that these wings were in the oven for over 2 hours. Now, if we were to try to bend the wing we baked for 25 minutes, brittle, crumbly, weak all the way through. Bake your clay. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you have any suggestions on what you want to see me make next, let me know. But other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you all later. Bye!